Welcome to another episode of the Youth Move Co podcast. Today we are interviewing Nagar, who has created the Joyi app.
The material and information presented here is provided by lived experience youth and for general information purposes only. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are of the guests of our podcast own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of Youth Move.
My question to you would be, what made you start the Joyi app and what made you want to do something that will help everybody?
Great question. My favorite one because it's a story behind that. I started my first startup company in 2012, and the idea was to helping young people, specifically more young women, and having a more growth mindset to take care of their mental health, to learn more about what they want to live and how they can just understand themselves. That project went very well. So we have more than 700,000 people that they followed and they used our services and products. But all the time, we found that mental health education is so important and we have lack of that. And for example, there are a couple of problems. One of them is that not all that education, not all the solution works for everyone. And it's so important to talk about people and people know that what exactly works for them, what exactly they need to learn. Let's give you an example. Me and you, for example, both of us, we want to be more resilient, but probably I need to work more on my sleep and you need to work more on, for example, your social skills. So both of us, we want to be resilient, but it's so unique way. We cannot give one recipe to everyone. So education should be more intelligent for personalized, which it was not the case 10 years ago. People have not talked about that much. The other part was that it was just so boring and not an interesting fact to learn about emotions and thoughts. We just started learning about things when we have to learn. And that caused a lot of problem. We learn about grief when we are facing grief. We learn about how to manage our anxiety when we experience very extreme anxiety. We learn about things exactly at that moment, which education is not a painkiller. It's more like a vitamin. It takes time to be digested in our brain. And then I realized that how important it is. And nobody, not nobody, but majority didn't pay attention to that. So I exited that startup and my idea was thinking about a product. I was thinking that, you know what, we need something like a digital vitamin for mental health. We have vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D to improve our physical resilience, but we don't have anything to improve our resilience in front of negative events and emotions. And I was thinking that if we can integrate technology like AI and this kind of intelligence to science and create a digital experience so people can improve their resilience in front of negative emotion, that would be perfect. And you know what is the best if the core of this digital vitamin is education? Because the side effect is totally positive. It's nothing negative about learning about your emotions and thoughts. So that was the core idea that I was thinking if we can build something like that, that would be awesome. But we didn't know, talking about digital vitamin for mental health, it was not something that it's not existed, not in science, never. So for 3 years, I exited that startup in 2018 and until 21, we worked on a research and how can we integrate science and education and technology all together, adding some storytelling, adding some like experience to make it more engaging so that we could see if we can create a product. And then after we realized that it seems on the paper that it's going to work, we started creating this app. So we spent 1 year of creating Joey. And then after that, before we start talking about that, we started a clinical study with a research team in Toronto to make sure that whatever we wanted to do, it really works. So we have done another year of research, and then we decided to apply for Society for Neuroscience annual conference, which was like 2 weeks ago in Washington, D.C., and we got accepted. So we had to not talk about the findings of the research for a few months. And just 2 weeks ago, November 15th, we presented all the findings publicly. So now, after all these years, it's the time that we can talk about this solution, including that what is the effect in this solution on people's health.
So I'd like to go, first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Cooper. I currently serve as a Vista for Youth Move Colorado. My service site is at the Colorado Department of Education. And what I currently am trying to do is basically expand mental health resources on behalf of the underserved youth in Colorado. I'd like to go back to a point that you made about, you said, for example, you said that many people that practice self-care are those that realize that they need self-care in their lives, that after they realize that, oh, this is important. So I'm just curious, how do we, and by we, I mean as a society, how do we send a message that it's perfectly fine to practice self-care and learn more about yourself, even if you may not necessarily be experiencing struggles in your life?
Yeah, you actually pointed the very important part, which that it was our problem, and still it is a problem, that why we thought that mental health education must be part of like our daily life, because people, they don't know if they need self-care. Why they don't know? Because, for example, we had so many experiences with other like different people in different cultures, and that they just felt something is wrong. They don't feel good, but they even couldn't say that the situation just frustrated them, or they're angry, or they're scared, or they're just depressed, or whatever. They can't even name their emotion easily because that's not simple. So if you cannot tell that what is the problem, then you cannot focus on the solving on that. And in some point, we realize that in this context, in mental health, problem finding is more important than problem solving. Let's say, for example, something in our life that if I know as a user that I have general anxiety, I can find with a lot of resources, with a lot of like information, that what should I do? What is the next step? Should I find like a help, or just like a self-help, or should I read something? But the biggest problem is that I know I'm not good, but I don't know what's wrong with me. So problem finding is the part that we need education for that. Was it a good answer for your question?
No, that was a very good answer. Problem
Great.
finding. It's something that, kind of, it sounds like, oh, it sounds a little bit taboo, I'd say, but I think that it's important that we have these sometimes difficult conversations, that it's like, hey, we may not know if there's something that's affecting us. So it's important that we're most prepared when we do find out that, oh, I mean, there's something that affecting us. It's very, very important. I agree.
One of the very good example that we like worked a lot on that is bullying. That people they say that, oh, bullying is the problem. We need to solve it. These people are aggressive. But a lot of research showed that these people need attention. These people need to feel they matter. If you don't give them this feeling, like this is their problem. Aggressiveness is the result of the problem that they have. The problem is that they feel they are invisible. They're not loved. They're not cared. And then if you don't solve this problem, you cannot just focus on the consequence of their problem. So it's very important to be educated, like even for people around them, that is this an aggressive person or does this person need to be like feel that I am mattered? So if we know, if we can name our emotion, if we can understand that what is the real problem, then solving them is so much easier than what we think.
I would like to jump in. My name is Savannah. I work at Together in Boulder, Colorado. And I find that, with working with young people, sometimes they're like embarrassed to tell people like what's exactly wrong with them, even if they know, or even if they don't know, they're like, I'm having this problem, X, Y, and Z is either frustrating me or making me sad or something. So I feel like, I don't know if this is true or not, but maybe some people feel like the app is less judgmental than going to like a mental health doctor that will look at you like crazy and stuff. Like you could just see it on their face that they're judging you sometimes when you say different things. And then, it probably has a less impact of like their mental health being worse than going to a person and saying all kinds of personal stuff and trying the person.
You're right. It's easier for people to solve it because there's so much judgment there. And still we see that if someone said that I have ADHD, I'm bipolar, I am depressed, I have depression, like diagnosed with that, people judge each other based on that and they don't see difference. Like they don't see, okay, this person is different. This person experience a life different. It's not essentially bad or worse than us. So people, they just don't want to be judged this harshly and they want to find a way that they can just reduce the pressure they already have in themselves. And one of the things that we have in the app, so the app is like that. And when you open it at the homepage, it asks you, are you stressed or you feel good and you want to work on your mental health and feel more happier? The stress is free for everyone in any country and it's always accessible. So that part, it just started telling people to just calm down their stress, but also it tell them that a lot of people, a lot of very successful people, a lot of very nice people, they feel the same. They feel something similar to you. And it's not essentially a bad thing. Imagine, just like, for example, imagine if, just an example, I tell you that you have autism and that's it. Or I tell you that, hey, you have a spectrum of autism, but did you know that, for example, these 10 successful, great people, they also had autism in their life? That's different. Just to see that I'm not the only one that I am different. I am one of the different people from like majority. It makes it easier. The other thing is that we cannot take good actions and good decisions when we experience a lot of stress and anxiety. At that moment, it's not time to educate ourselves. It's not time to make decisions. It's not time to take good steps. We just need to reduce the anxiety. That's why even if we want to teach people in this app, we want them first make sure that they're not stressed. And if they are, there's another thing that they need to work on that. And after that, they can start learning about what is the problem, how they can solve it, whom they can be trusted, like trusted person for their problem and other things.
I honestly like the way that you said that, and I appreciate that you are so focused on everybody's mental health when it comes to this situation. And I, for one, decided to download the Joyi app, but I have been having a little issues of trying to like navigate it or how to do the things on the
Mm-hmm.
Joyi app. Is there like a tutorial or anything like that that could help us try to navigate the app? Because I'm kind of confused, but I would really love to use this app to my discretion, you know?
Yes, that's honestly one of our weak point that we created a lot of good part of the app, but still we struggle to make it more understanding, especially for the first times that you use them. So if actually you all have some ideas and feedback to how we can make it more understanding for people, we would love to work on it because we are ongoingly working to making this product better, but we know that we are not perfect. And this is one point that I know it's one of our biggest weak point, that for people that they don't have any idea of what is this app, it's a little bit confusing. It takes time for them to just see what's going on. And we try to solve it, but we don't know how.
Do you, Savannah or Cooper, have any suggestions for Nagar?
I mean, I just curious because as I read the description of the Joy app, I saw that Joy is definitely meant to be sustainable. And as a Vista, I'm all about sustainable solutions that make lives and communities better. I'm just curious, how did you how do you make the app sustainable? I'm still trying to digest what it means for the Joy app to be sustainable. If you could please elaborate about that.
Sustainable in the context of environment or sustainable in the context of mental health? Because when we are talking about sustainable happiness, it means that the happiness that it's not excitement right now, it's a long-term, lasting, healthy way of happiness. For example, it's kind of similar concept of sustainable in environment is that when you need to use your energy, you need to use your product in the world and environment in a way that is healthy for yourself, for other people, and for society. This is sustainable. And in mental health is the same, that you need to use your emotions and energy in a way that is healthy for you in long term and short term. So when you look at things, like if you just look at happiness in a short term, then your decisions are not healthy enough. It's not good enough. If you just look at them in long term, it's non-smart. So you need to take a look at like the benefit of your act, your behavior for yourself, for society, in short term and in long term. So this is how we say something that is mentally sustainable.
That's awesome. I have a question pertaining about the app. So when you like answer certain questions, like if you do it every day, would it record your improvement? And then you can go back and look at like different days on like which day you were not doing so well and then the days that you were doing better.
No, checking in. This is a checking in a functionality that this app doesn't have that. But this app, when you work with that every day, you need to fill your jars. That it's so easy in short time. You need to fill your jars, and that there is a score in the app that it shows how many days you took care of your mental health education in this app. There is a part that is for like a report, and then you will see how many minutes you learn about mental health, and equally it's around how many books that you have read about that and how many lessons you learned in during this time. So there are not so much like information and it's not daily checking in, but it's only for one functionality, how much I learn about my happiness.
Okay. Thank you.
Actually, this question is very related to the new product that we are researching about that and we are working is that a checking, like an app that like it's the same character in it and it asks people that how do you feel today? Does anything happen? And then there is a chat there that you can chat with that character and it's intelligent and based on the chat, it understands your emotions if you feel something very serious or not. And the tool, it's going to be used for like communities and places that there are so many members and there are a couple like 2, 3 psychologists there, for example, like schools that there are like say 400 students in the school and they just have 2 therapists and psychologists there. So it's impossible for them to all the day ask everyone that how they feel and see who needs the most for the support. So this app every day, this character ask every person that how do you feel? Do you want to talk with me? Do you want to chat with me? And then just record everything. And then whenever it finds something that like it's something that it needs to be attention, then it sends a notification to their therapist that, hey, this person feels down in like feelings for a week, for 5 days. You need to talk with this person or this person during last 2 weeks started talking about suicide 3 times. So you need to talk with this person about this topic. This is a tool that we are working for, not like Joyi is for everyone that just download the app and use it. That one is for schools and for community member like centers that they want to take care of a large amount of members. So that is the checking I think you mentioned. We are working on that.
So what I'm hearing correct, which that is totally amazing. So what you guys are working on now is you're trying to get like an app that works with therapists and said person that's not okay.
Mhm.
And whatever is going on in said app, it gets sent to their therapist, and then that'll be the topic that they talk about next session in their therapy. That is
Right.
really amazing. That I feel like that will help the disconnect between therapists and the client itself because there's a lot of not understanding how they feel because they have it in therapy brain of how the client feels versus how the client themselves feel. That is so amazing that you are
Yeah.
to elaborate on that.
I like it as well because of some reason. One is Joey is an unbiased thing. It's not human. It doesn't see any of your differences. Joey behave with everyone the same. So it's much healthier to talk with something, even though it's the digital entity that it it doesn't judge you at all. You can say whatever you want and it's just care about how do you feel. The other thing is that I am based in Toronto. So in Canada, there is a huge problem in universities when students they feel not so good and they want help in their mental health. They go to their wellness centers in schools and they ask for a free counseling sessions. The average amount, like waiting time, is 3 months. Imagine that just to say to someone that I don't feel good, I'm stressed, you need to wait at least 3 months, or averagely 3 months, which is so high. And that's not a problem that universities can solve it because there's so many students and this wellness center is not that big. This way, everyone can talk with this character, digital character, and they can have a prioritizing system that, okay, these people, they need more help. These people are doing good. These people need to be cared. So we found this something that is really needed. So that's the reason that we are working on that and we are testing it right now. But whatever we do, we really like, we are a company. We don't care about what is our product is. We just see the market and see how can we make mental health education livable and doable in daily life, in our normal hours of life? And whatever we need, we will work on it to create it.
So a question that popped up into my head, a lot of the times apps are usually like costing money or things of that sort, or there's a type of membership. Is there any type of membership or costly anything for the app to get the resources that we need with this app?
Yes. So the app has a free version and premium. In the free version, so it's one app, but the freemium is like all the parts of the content of the stress is free. So if you're stressed, you can use all the content and all the coping mechanism for free. The part which is for education for long-term impact is paid. And for the paying, these numbers that I say, it's in Canada dollars, so you can just like reduce it 30%. For US, so it's $10 per month and $70 per year for the subscription. But mostly, like if we have two different types of working. One is for individuals that they want to have this product for themselves, but for schools and for organizations, usually they buy bulk access with very much lower price to give access, like distribute them in their communities.
I'm just curious about any future plans that you might have in mind for the app. For example, I'm of the opinion where, I mean, you know what works, but I'm also of the opinion that, you know, times change, people change. And so it might I think that it's important to be open to evolution of the app perhaps, but I mean, I definitely think that it's up to you to do whatever works best. So I'm just curious if you have any future plans for the app.
You mean for its activity or for like developing more functions and improve the functionality of the app?
Yeah, perhaps improving the functionality of the app. And that could definitely include different activities. But yes, for improving the functionality of the app.
So for improving the functionality of the app, we are working on two aspects. One is to culturally apply CBT on the content. Treatment, like mental health treatment and therapy, it's different in different cultures. For example, in North America, meditation is a good solution for mindfulness, and it's a very new one. It's so interesting to do that. It's a very good experience, but Indian people, they have done that for 5,000 years. So it's a good one, but it's so normal, obvious for them. And for example, we in this part of the world, we talk about that learn how to say no. But there are some cultures, there are some languages, they don't have no. And it's not a pleasant thing to say no. So it's not working to work on different things. And culturally applied CBT is very important to work on it to make it like understandable for everyone, for every people, every countries, every like part of the geography. So this is something that we are working on that. The other one is that to make it more personalized, we are always working on the algorithm, like the AI algorithm we used to see, for example. For now, the more you play with Joy, the more it understands what exact bite-sized lesson you need to be more resilient. And the lessons that you see is not the same as the lessons that I see. But improving this algorithm takes time and we always work on that. But there are some other things that we see for the improvement, but it's not for the functionality that we are working, is that in how to position this product and how to position mental health education, which is the most challenging part of our work. For example, this Christmas, the application fee for like a year in Canada dollar is $70. but we create an envelope for a Christmas gift. It's this gift card for a year. It's a full access lifetime to a goal planner digital version. It's a greeting card. It's a letter, everything together with $15. So this is not a profitable product. We created that for that positioning to say that mental health education and taking care of people's happiness is a gift. It's precious. And you need to look at it as valuable as a Christmas gift could be. So to just sell this idea, we created this like product and we put this message on that because we didn't know how to present this idea, how to tell people that, hey, you can gift people joy. You can gift people feeling good for a year and support for their stressful moments. And $15, it's just, I don't know, it's a pizza, it's something like that. And think about this, think about mental health differently. And now we are working on another project with the schools that why don't you have a welcome package for students? You are thinking about a lot of support for their education. Why don't you just give them this support, this digital friend, so they know that they are not alone in their difficult moments? To position mental health education as something a part of daily life. So these are the part that we work on it for positioning this matter in the work. And also there are some other things in science that we always work on it. We just finished our clinical study last year. And in 2 months, we're going to start a very huge one to see more data on how we can impact people in the long term.
So I'm going like through the app right now just to see what we got going on. I really like the fact that there's like a check mark in the corner of like you going through it. And it says this content is backed by scientific research and you can learn more about what has been said or whatever quote was discussed about. Was that something that was like really important for you when you were making this app?
Yes, yes, it is very important because there are so many content, there are overload of content in social media, in internet. And if you want to care about your mental health, you need to have a validated something really works. Not something just beautiful content in social media that someone has experience about like a trauma and then won't talk about that. We thought that there is a huge population, the ones that they read a lot about their mental health. They want to make sure that if this is a good advice, I want to make sure that they work on it. There is something behind that. There is a reason for saying that. So we were thinking that we have that. All the content that we create, they are based on some research. Why not sharing them with people? Why not be very transparent with them to say that, okay, you need to do this. You need to breathe like this in stressful moments. Why? Because this science, this research talked about that. The other thing is that there is a confusing, it's not like for you using the app, but mostly when we talk in science part, in science communications, that we say that we are science backed, but we don't create psychological science. We have a good science for the way we educate mental health stuff. So we're not a scientific mental health app. We don't do diagnose. We are not for treatment. And to just show that, okay, the science that we use in mental health is not ours, is not validated. What we offer as an innovative part is the new approach of presenting these things. I hope it was clear.
I know that was very clear. That was really good. That was a really good answer. So Savannah and Cooper, do you guys have any more questions?
Right now, I don't think I have any.
No, I think that this has been a very good conversation, and we appreciate you taking your time out of your day to elaborate on your app. And we hope the best for the app and definitely would like to see it grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I love the conversation and like it was very nice. I learned about you and I would love to have more conversation even about like the first question that you asked that because this is our concern as well that how can we help people to understand they need help and they understand their problem. So these are the things that I'm always love to learn more about people about like end users. And I love this conversation.
Right. Well, this can conclude our interview with Nagar about the Joy app that she has created for everybody to get better for their mental health.
Thank you so much.